Hello dear friends, I've had a really kind of strange day today. I needed to go to the hospital to meet with a surgical registrar because at some stage I have to have my pesky gallbladder removed because that's been giving me a few moments of illness and yeah, it's just one of those things. Anyway, in my wisdom I thought, save parking, I'll catch the bus in. And when I was there, I remembered I had a friend upstairs who was in a ward, so I went to go and visit her. And then the fun began because I came back to get the bus only to find out that there was roadwork somewhere and the buses were all going round in a loop and not following their normal routes. Anyway, I managed to get down to the high street and I thought while I'm there I'm going to pick up a Daphne's diary because I haven't had one for ages. And this is number 8 of 2025, so it is the Christmas edition, and I thought let's just have a flip through it and just see what's inside. So as always, we're going to find some lovely images. The covers are beautiful to use for journals because they're nice and thick. And then here, loads and loads of inspiration, lots of numbers you can use, bits of sheet music, smaller images which are nice just to add on to things, especially if you are just starting out with junk journaling or you need some ephemera. It's quite a nice resource to have as a Daphne's diary because there's a lot you can get here. So you could cut out the little hearts, you could cut out the little frames, you could fussy cut those, and then you could actually cut out that image and put something else in there. You've got some wooden spoons, glasses, and always around borders you'll find these are lovely pieces of colors, textures, images that you can simply use for doing a masterboard or a collage tag of some sort. Don't throw them away. Some lovely ideas of making corrugated card sort of decorations. Quite a nice idea to do with children because it does teach them the value of things. And when you have a page like that that has lots of print, think about stamping on top of it, using that as a background, layering some things onto that, because you'll find that it actually really does build up to be rather nice, especially that this is a blue type and it's different to, for instance, this one over here, which is a cursive and in black. And here you've got a typeface type. So look at those and just remember that you can use them all. And then we've got some lovely ideas here of making little clay tags, and I like the idea of these because first of all it's something that you can make yourself, but secondly it's almost like a perpetual tag because, for instance, if you type something on it like Merry Christmas or Happy Birthday or I love you, you can just tie that onto a present. You don't have to write anything unless you want to do it on a piece of card, but that can be passed on to the next person and the next person. There are also these lovely images which you could cut out, and they've got holes where you could punch through that and put an eyelet, hang them on your Christmas tree. I think those are rather fun and quite a nice thing to do with kids. Could you just imagine a nice white branch that you paint white with something that you found out on a walk, and you can hang these on? I think that would look really gorgeous. But having said that, you could also use these as pieces of ephemera for a Christmas journal. Some nice recipes for making lip scrub and lip balm. I've got a lovely calendula lip balm which beats everything else I've tried. These little magazines are great for making small books to go into your journals, or they could be something that could go onto the front of a card, or you could make it into like a little gift voucher of some sort and put a £5 note in there for somebody. Nice ideas for Christmas candles. And this is rather novel, making stars out of paper bags. Lovely Christmas markets in France and in Germany. One of my colleagues was going off to Poland. Well, she went this last weekend to Poland to a Christmas market, so I'm dying to hear what she found. Just some ideas for roasting, but lovely borders here. Look at these. Lovely borders with stars, and then you've got more up at the top, so don't forget that you can use those as part of your ephemeras and journals. Repeated here as well. And then you've got a lovely sheet here of stickers, a bigger sheet than normal, almost like a washi sticker, so they're quite long strips and you can peel those off. Nice Christmas decorations, and some more little things that you can make with air drying clay. You could similarly do these with salt dough. Those would also work. Piece of music script. These are rather nice little mugs with all the little Christmas decorations hanging on them, or little houses. Quite nice, but I think, gosh, what a lot of work for somebody to do. Easier just to paint them on almost, but they do look nice in 3D. And then these are just some of the products that Daphne's Diary does. I see that they're advertising a paper book, which would be just all sorts of different papers and things that you could use for ephemera. Nice Christmas decorations you could cut out, and I love these characters. I just really do. Each magazine seems to have a different one, and they're always doing different things, so quite fun to collect those. Some nice articles. Now look at these nice textures on this piece of wood that's been painted red. That's nice to add into something for a texture, and you've got nice little bits of map, and they're quite small with their print and not too fussy, so that would add in nicely for anything that you're making. Nice berries, nutcrackers. Any trouble with the Daphne's Diary is the magazine is so tall, it's hard to get everything in frame. Anyway, magazines, and a lovely page of all sorts of gift tags that you could use. These are quite small ones, so that'd be quite nice on little things. Those you could stick onto labels or use them in a journal. How to make your own hot chocolate spoons. That looks quite fun, quite nice as a present for somebody. You could make a jar full of those. And just going on then to some Christmas decorations and dishes. She is doing an emphasis of working with gold this year, so quite a lot of gold imagery and lovely watercolor in gold. I've just ordered some nice metallic watercolors, and I can't wait for them to get here, because I did have a whole pan of different colors, or a palette should I say, but my little granddaughter felt her need was greater than mine, so I succumbed, and I've just ordered some more. So different dishes. This is a nice thing to do if you're in a hot climate, is mix your Christmas fruit into your ice cream and then freeze it. We used to do that back in South Africa because it was so hot there, and it did give a nice festive feel to it. This is just meringues with all sorts of delectable things in there, chocolates and bits of, almost looks like a crunchy kind of a top. Lemon cheesecake mixture. Okay, so that's what they've done there. So here are some rather large sort of label kind of tag things, but if you had to cut those, they would make nice, really big journal cards. Or I would imagine if you had to fold them in half, you could probably do maybe a little booklet like that that flips open. You've got options with that, but that's rather nice, and it's a nice strong card as well. So you've got 6 of those. Some post from the readers. Often pick up nice ideas there. Little snow globe, that's beautiful. And some very simple ideas with just white and gold. I like these, just paper bags that have been stenciled with an image that you could have at home, but it doesn't have to be Christmas, and then just stencil it in gold, which just really gives it a bit of class. And then obviously put some nice tissue paper in, and maybe one of your handmade clay items that would say Merry Christmas, or if you were doing it for a birthday, Happy Birthday. Very, very inexpensive way to make a nice gift bag. Oh, there we go, there's some bigger images for you. Aren't they lovely? And then if you have an embossing machine, you could just emboss gold card with a design. But very simple little ideas that actually really do look good. You get lovely metallic foils that you could use. I've never seen gold aluminium foil, which is what is listed here, but I have seen gold shim, which is a very thin metal. You can get it in different colors, and that's quite nice. This here looks a little bit thicker than just gold foil, although they might call it foil. But if you look for gold embossing foil, or yeah, something that you do with pewter and that kind of stuff, you'd find that there. Fragrance of dried oranges in the home at Christmas are just absolutely gorgeous. And it's a fun thing to do with kids, and it's quite a nice way to decorate. Spend some time slicing up the oranges. You could also push cloves into the whole orange and then just dry them out once you've rolled the orange in a mixture of cinnamon and nutmeg, and the fragrance is just amazing. Different things with temperatures. Here's some cut out decorations that you could just cut and fold into a circle so they would stand, and they would be quite nice on a Christmas table. Or they've done them here that you could use them as a postcard, but I would imagine you could use either. Apple and cinnamon with honey, so that's a nice drink that you could make. And look at that, that's already a collage in itself at the back there for you. Lots that you could work on from there if you were going to do a journal. Love the fact that they're bringing in all these old-fashioned toys, things that actually had meaning, people had crafted them, point shoes. I remember when I worked for Cape Town City Ballet, which it wasn't then, it was called Cape-Ab, having to crochet little things to sew onto the end of point shoes for the dancers. Yeah, so all these lovely little toys, you've got these that you can make. You've still got time to do it. And look at that, cracked sort of paint with a bit of stenciling, a bit of collage there. I mean, gosh, you've got quite a lot of materials, if I take that image out on either side, that you could work with for your journals. Sweet little swan and reindeer. And they've given you the patterns, so that's really nice. And the patterns for the nutcracker and the other little doll. Here's a little push out of a Christmas scene. Little Dickinson sort of Christmas carol songs. And some recipes. We need easy recipes at Christmas, don't we? And then we've got just some white paper or card and folded it here. These upright milk cartons, so like your long life milk carton bottles, but you could cut windows out and put a little tea light candle in, especially those that are battery operated, so you eliminate the risk of fire. But very nice to be able to decorate those and do something simple with kids. I think kids do really enjoy being part of Christmas, and if they've made something and you bring it out the next year and the next year, at least for a few years, that makes them feel very special. Propagating things, that's what I'm all about, that's what I do. I love to grow things from cuttings and that. Yeah, so give it a try. Although we are in the UK now and I'm in the southeastern part of the UK, I've got two really big avocado pear trees that I've grown from seed, and by probably next year we should start seeing some fruit coming from that. So they can grow outside. There's a horticulturalist who has one in London who's got a very productive avocado pear tree, so that's something to look forward to. Some nice articles, there's lovely backgrounds here. Look at all these lovely bells. I do love bells. I love the sounds that they make, and I love the fact that they're all so different. And some really whimsy kind of Christmas decorations. I think I like this one the best just because she's simple. And then in here we've got this big page. I haven't had a look at it yet, so I have no idea what's inside, but it is a big page, poster size. So let's have a look here. Lots of, oh, look at that, colouring pages. Well, that's quite nice. That could keep you busy for hours over Christmas. And quite a lot that you could cut out as well. Well, that's great. And then here we've got a whole myriad of different kinds of Christmas toys. I remember these. I didn't have a sled because we didn't have the snow, but little cooking stoves. Oh, roller skates. Those were fun. Rocking horses. This was like a little music box that you could play on. I didn't ever have one of those. It was fine, but certainly we did this. This is just such fun to do with kids because you speak into the tin, and at the base you've pierced a hole and just got a piece of string going to the other side of the hole and then tied a knot at either end. And it's that sort of, yeah, Chinese whispers almost, where what you say in here travels along the line to the other one. The person listening on the other side doesn't always get the message straight. And by the time you've done it a couple of times, the message is quite garbled, but it is quite fun. The old spinning top and these little click-clack things that we used to press down and they used to jump for us. And tricycles. I did have one That was not quite the same, not quite as old as that, but yeah, it was really great fun. I love my tricycle. And truffles. Who doesn't like a good chocolate? Look how gorgeous these are, and then beautifully they've been decorated. I don't have the patience to do it, but they are gorgeous. And then here you've got just an advent calendar that you can buy, but you've got lots of little mini nutcrackers that you could use, some nice berries. And here are the pages at the back of Daphne's diary where you can decorate, use them for collages, use them for wrapping paper even. Can't say I'm wild about these ones. They're a little bit unusual compared to Daphne's diary normal style. Maybe there's a different artist doing them. Then just upcoming things and advertising. And the next issue will appear on the 6th of January. Well, there we go. That's the back cover. And if I open it all out for you, there it is. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed this little delight into this festive Daphne's diary, and we'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to my channel and giving me a thumbs up. Bye for now.